Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talks. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is Thursday morning, and at the time of shooting this video, which was late last night, I'm finding it interesting. We're seeing a nice dip. A lot of opportunity in that. I'm debating, do I take advantage of this, or do I see if it can break through $30? Personally, I don't know if it's going to break through 30 bucks. But we're going to see. I mean, we're only 30 cents away right now. There is going to be a Fed meeting. I was actually looking at the chart a few minutes ago on when the next Fed meeting is. We're looking at roughly 20 days. So when you think about it, a next Fed meeting is only about 3 weeks away. And the big question on that Fed meeting that we're already mentioning is, are they going to lower interest rates? There's a lot of pressure right now on the banks to maintain essentially what's going on. And banks are struggling. A lot of people, don't really fully realize that. And we're kind of seeing it. We're seeing the interest rates. And then on top of that, we're seeing the federal government with their giant, enormous debt that it's getting costly. And, anytime you have a person that continues to spend money, even when they know they've already overspent, you guys know how that's going to end. We're going to talk a little bit about some of this today. We're going to talk a little bit on silver and gold. And we're going to actually talk a little bit about cash, which I kind of found interesting when I had noticed this. It's not something I had actually thought of. So I think it's going to be some good topics that we're going to hit on tonight. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please help me out by taking a quick minute. Hit that thumbs up button and leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on any of these topics. And if you're not subscribed, take a quick minute, hit the subscribe. I try to put a lot of work in to grow the channel, and you subscribing to the channel costs you nothing, but it really does help out a lot. So with that being said, where do we want to start? So I guess I'll tell you guys about the most interesting thing that came up the other day that I should have known. I just, never really thought about it. Everybody right now is talking about the banks. More and more people are talking about how the banks are in trouble. The interest rates have been going up. They're stuck with lower interest rate treasury bonds. And essentially, do they sell them at the low interest rates? If they sell them, they're going to get less for them because you have a choice. Would you rather buy, if you have $100, would you rather buy essentially a 5% treasury bond, or would you rather buy a 2% treasury bond? Well, of course, you'd rather have the 5% bond. So what do you do if you have the bonds already and you're holding 2% savings bonds, treasury bonds? The truth of the matter is people aren't really going to want them as much, which means the only way you can sell them is essentially if you discount them. And when they discount them, that makes it a little bit harder for people, essentially, because now they're taking losses on something they bought. And I find that interesting, and that when I talk to some people, and I've mentioned this in a short the other day, that, what's going on, it really doesn't make sense. I was talking to a friend, and I said, you look at the stock market, you look at the crypto market, you look at the overall economy, and stuff ain't adding up. And that's why I did liquidate the majority of my crypto holdings. I took everything out, had it all transferred to my bank account, and I will probably reinvest it now into precious metals. Even though I know precious metals for me happens to be like a black hole. And why is that? Because once I put it in it, I never want to let it go. I really don't like letting it go. I know some people have heard me say how I sold a coin or I traded a coin or whatever the case may be. But what a lot of people don't understand is, I put a lot to precious metals. I'm a firm believer in precious metals. And because of that, even if I let go of a coin or two, someone might have already noticed they're like, where'd the tube of maples go that was back there? The half a tube of maples. I actually let it go today. It was only a half a tube. And I was like, I don't like looking at that half a tube anymore. And most of what you see on my desk is actually stuff that I use for trading. This is not my personal collection. It's stuff that I pick up. And if I really like something, like, I'll be honest, these right here, these Mercury dimes, which originally I was going to end up trading these off, but they're kind of starting to grow on me now, especially after I did a couple shorts about how cheap you can still pick up 90% silver for if you look around. But a lot of people have said, yes, you can still get it, fair priced, but it's getting harder and harder to find because a lot of people are snapping it up. Now, Here's the thing. If people start really getting scared of what's going on in the banking system, the thing that a lot of people don't realize, and I didn't even realize it until recently, is if everybody starts taking their money out of the bank, what's the first thing you hear? Well, obviously you have a run on the bank, and essentially the bank doesn't have your money. They will run out of money. Why don't they have your money? Because they've invested it. They've invested your money in either the stock market, they've invested it in different types of investments, whether that be treasury bonds, whatever it may be. But even if the bank does have your money, let's hypothetically say, there's not enough cash out there if everybody starts taking their money. We have gone mostly digital already, and cash is really getting difficult when you think about it at that point if everybody starts taking their cash out. Now, how is that possible, or why? Because there's just not enough physical cash if everybody starts demanding it. We had the run on the banks before, and a lot of people were taking cash, putting it under their mattress, stuff like that. Is there really enough cash in the system today if people all start drawing it? I mean, what would be the problem that we hit first? Banks having to say we don't have your money because we essentially lost it in the stocks, or we invested it in something that we can't afford to sell, or them just saying we don't have enough physical cash in the system to give everybody back their money. And moving on real quick to having to sell, since it just really got me thinking a minute ago. I don't know how many of you guys seen the movie The Big Short with Christian Bale. Great movie, amazing movie. It had a lot of great cast in it. But in The Big Short, there's a scene where you have Christian Bale explaining how the people that are invested in his fund, he does not allow them to sell out their position. Why? Because it was taking heavy losses, manipulated essentially, and as it was taking these heavy losses, people were starting to get scared and they wanted to get out. Well, he had a clause in there that he made it to where people could not take their money out. Now, when you think about that for a minute, in the movie, he was protecting his investors. He knew the system was broken, but he was alone. He was one of the few outsiders that seen this, and essentially, it's falling on deaf ears. Now, eventually, if you followed the movie or you know the story of what happened, eventually his investors made out like bandit. Every one of them became a millionaire just about overnight as the housing market collapsed and they were shorting it. Now, here's the thing. If the banks have to sell their investments, though, at a loss, that's going to essentially take out banks. Now, the question comes up is, could they stop you from taking your cash? Could they implement some rule in place instantly that says you cannot take your money out of the bank? Now, a lot of people don't really think about this necessarily, but it wouldn't take much for them to declare an emergency and say you can't take your money out of the bank. Now, somebody might say, well, why would you even want to? Well, here's the thing. If you're holding precious metals, you can easily sell precious metals when everybody is clamoring for safe havens. And that's really where I see precious metals skyrocketing. In that time period, it will probably way overshoot what is a fair market value. Now, right now, we saw the recent run up this past week where it jumped up to $32.50. Well, at the time of filming this video right now, in the middle of the night last night, we're down to $30.40. Now, here's the thing. Where is it going to go from here? I've actually talked to one subscriber. He's actually a member of the channel, and his estimates are that we will probably see a sub $30 pullback. I think that's interesting because at first I didn't really see that as a possibility, but us being only 30-40 cents away from $30, I'm thinking it could be a possibility now. But here's the thing. Why is it pulling back? What's going on that's making it pull back? Because, when I talk to people, I did a survey the other day on a short, and I just asked everybody, are you still buying? Are you selling? What are you doing? And I talked to a lot of people, and all of them, the majority of them, with a few exceptions, were saying, I'm still buying. I'm not worried about it. I'll put my order in. Yeah, I'm hoping it dips when the order goes in and I can save a few dollars. But at the end of the day, is $30, $31, $32 really high for silver? Even if you've got to pay up to $35. Now, I know originally I said I'm not going to pay over 30. And this is something that I've been down this road numerous times as I get frustrated when the price is going up. It's scary to a certain point because, you know, despite you put so much energy into your collection and stacking silver, you want to get more. And when it jumps, it just really makes it harder for you to buy. You know, I don't even sweat when I see the price dip. Usually I'm clapping because I'm excited. I can get more for my money, you know, but at some point we know that this game is going to be up. You can only manipulate something down so much before it does pop. And I think, you know, $30, I was reading a comment a little while ago, and they think that was the pop. I said, I don't think $30 is the pop. Now, like I told you, that member that told me he thinks it will pull under 30 again, he also has a very positive outlook for silver. He just thinks it's going to retest this level and, you know, hopeful that it will go down a little lower even, but who knows? Right now with the DXY chart making the dollar look strong, you know, it scares essentially a lot of other countries. And when other countries see their fiat currency collapsing and they see the dollar going up, it makes them want to hold the dollar. And I really think that's what the Fed is trying to accomplish. They want people to realize the US dollar is the safe haven asset. But, you know, if you've been following the channel for a while, you've already picked up a fair amount of knowledge on silver and gold. And it doesn't matter if the US dollar is going up right now compared to other currencies, because the truth of the matter is they're all falling. You know, and I've used this analogy multiple times that if we all jump out of a plane and maybe I'm heavier set than you and I'm falling to the ground, I'm going to be the first one to hit. You know what? You're right behind me. It's not going to change anything if you hit the ground a minute after me. And that's where I think a lot of these currencies are going. They're collapsing, but we're not seeing it collapse as fast because you're comparing it essentially to other falling assets. And so, you know, it makes it look like everything's moving the same speed and everything's going smoothly. But the truth of the matter is, if you compare it to items such as other commodities, such as not just gold and silver, food, gas, oil, whatever, we're seeing that all of the items that we buy are going up in price. And as that happens, it makes you really fully realize it's not really the prices of everything going up. It's more the dollar going down and the rest of the fiat currencies. And that's why I have a belief that at a certain point in time, all fiat currencies are going to return to their true intrinsic value, which is essentially zero. And it'll just be a piece of paper. But if you had the foresight to pick up some precious metals, then you'll probably be okay when that happens. You'll have something to fall back on, trade for food if you need to, or sell it to help get by in small amounts. Not all at once, but sell a little here and there. So with that being said, I thank y'all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button and leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on anything I've said. I love to hear it. I love to use comments to get ideas for videos. And I will see you guys next time on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody, and have a great day. Thank you for the thumbs up and the subscribes. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.